everyone, and welcome to another Mapping It Out Wednesdays. I'm so excited about our guest today that we have, Akilah. We have Joy Caffrey of Joy Caffrey Transformational Leadership. And a couple of things about Joy. One, she is probably one of the calmest souls I've ever met. And I love that about her. When you talk to her, you feel at ease. And that's very important when you're working with a coach or a consultant, that you feel at ease and you feel comfortable. And so that's my 2 cents about Joy that I have experienced with her. And again, we have Akilah Davis, our motivational mastery mentor. And we are going to be talking about transformational leadership, facilitating with motivational maps. I'm so excited about this conversation. Take it away, Akilah.
Thank you very much, Marie. And even though we're far apart, I think we're close enough that I caught my cold from you. So thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have given you my cold.
And Joy, it's a real pleasure to have you on today. And I have worked with you now for a number of years, and I've known you before that as well when we were in our mastermind together. And I have to say, what I love about working with you is you give the client what they want, no matter how much you have to learn to do it. You are always there for them. And it's one of the things that I really, really love about the way you work with people. So today we want to talk about what attracted you to motivational maps. What was your story about getting trained and becoming a practitioner?
Sure. Well, first I want to say it's delightful to be here with both of you. And what's most attracted me to motivational mapping is my absolute passion for the importance of self-awareness. And the more that we can become self-aware and have self-mastery, the more that we can work with others in a way that is with clarity and compassion and in productive ways for businesses. So self-awareness is what drives me. And meeting Akilah in a mastermind group, which I was in to develop and keep going with my skills of expertise. And just seeing from what I learned from you, Akilah, is how motivational mapping can bring yet another level of self-awareness and then understanding of how a group operates together.
Yes. And that was another thing I enjoyed, is you and I did that first group. We co-worked on that. And it was eye-opening from many different ways because, like I said, I loved working with you and getting to see who you are as a person. And I loved how it opened the client's eyes. Talk about that a little bit, what they got out of it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times companies make the assumption that all the employees just want to make more money, right? That's what their bottom line is. And I think with the company that you're referring to, that was a foundation drilling company that Akilah and I worked with, they actually found out that their need, they were searchers and experts. And I don't think they realized how much the importance knowing that what they were doing was making a difference in the world. And literally it was, because they were drilling foundations for bridges to go over, for buildings to stand upright. And so it definitely was making a difference. And then learning how they wanted to be the experts in that field. And it's that pride that really drove this company to working cohesively together as a team. And so helping them to understand their motivators helped the leadership shift a little bit differently in doing that.
And one of the other things is them understanding that they had to design a new communication system to make sure that their people are getting their communication, because it was extremely important. It was one of their top 3 needs as a motivator, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and safety was absolutely essential. And so the communication needed to be clear, precise, understood for the sake of safety. Yeah.
So that was fun. Since we've done that, you have worked with another group, and it was totally different. Tell us about that experience.
Right. So I'll refer to the group as DSDS, and it's a smaller company with different needs. and what was happening was a lot of kind of, I want to say, some infighting going on, but frustration and challenges. One, it was a family-run business, and yet there was also non-family members as well. And they were helping them to learn their motivational style differences with very strong defenders and then yet very strong searchers, and how the pacing could be really different, the need for details versus moving forward maybe too quickly, and absolutely needed to understand better responsibility and role assignments. And so getting people better matched to their job, to their role. So finding out what people's motivators were and then moving some people around so that they were then in the role that supported what motivates and gives them energy and passion. And within working with that one company, we saw that increase, right? From,
Yep,
Yeah.
and I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
From the first time you did the survey, and then you did your workshops, and the second time you did it, that was a huge increase. Their productivity went up 10%, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In a short period of time.
Right. Yeah. I'd done a couple of video workshops, and then we moved into the in-person workshops. And I really think the in-person workshops helped a lot. And we're going to continue with that moving forward.
Yeah. One more thing about that group that really struck me was how eager the employees were to find out about their motivators.
Yeah. And they were, and also to share it with each other. Like they didn't feel like they had to keep it confidential. They were especially in the in-person workshops, they were so happy to share. In fact, what one of them suggested, and we're doing this in the next group, is a speed dating of learning each other's levers of motivations. And so we're going to have some fun playing with that in the next workshop. Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic. And that's what I love about the motivation maps and you're working with companies. It's not only every person is different, but every company is different and how they interact and what they need. And like you did that twice, did the survey to get their baseline for motivation, then did the workshop, and the workshop was based on their greatest need. Remember? So that was important. And when you did the second one, that workshop changed to their current need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. It constantly changes. And just like our motivational levers change over time, depending on what's happening in our lives, what's happening in our workplace. And I think that's one of the advantages of motivational mapping is it keeps up to date with real time what's happening in people's worlds and what's happening with the company. And so how to constantly subtly adjust the communication as you're working with your staff and making those adjustments in real time.
What's your favorite part of working with motivational maps with your groups?
Well, I always love talking about energy, and then energy is prompted by those motivational needs and helping clients to see that they are empowered to diminish their frustrations and their limiting beliefs and to step into the power and excitement about what really moves them and drives them. And when everybody's working with that level of passion and excitement, the companies really thrive. There's a cohesiveness, there's a productivity that rises when there's that team cohesion. I think what I like is, I could talk on so many different places, but what I like is when you lay out the motivational levers for a team and they see that there's 9 different levers, and you help them to understand everybody on the team is important. Every one of those levers is needed to make the company, just like a baseball team, right? Has its players out there and they all have their different positions. When you start teaching that, no, everyone doesn't have to think like you or act like you, right? And that their differences actually add to the beauty of the company and what the company can pull off together cohesively. When that 1 + 1 = 3 is when everybody's respecting and acknowledging each other's motivations.
Nicely said. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, tell me a little bit about what you practice. I know your practice, and I think it's fascinating. What's even more fascinating is that you have been doing healing work for a long time. And your healing work was more than just energy. I got to know you. You learned how to help people to move to the next level in your emotional regulation and a lot of things. So tell me a little bit about the scope of your work and how corporate likes to work with you.
Sure. And for 30 years, I was an energy medicine practitioner. That's a long time of really building that skill set with individuals. And I literally had over 8,000 sessions with individuals getting to understand humans, the human condition, and the human psyche. And then when COVID hit, I needed to, stop working with individuals in my office, and I took it online and to teach courses. And that led me to a corporation wanting to work with me. And it was a big leap for me, right, to go from individuals to a corporation. And yeah, I wondered if I do the work the way I do it, they're gonna either love me or hate me, right? Because it's way outside the box of corporate work, and they soaked it up like a sponge, and I was just so surprised. And so, and I think it gets back to self-awareness, right? When you recognize that, for safety with that particular company I started with, they always talked about physical safety, and I'm like, well, what holds up that diamond of physical safety? It's the ability to have emotional self-regulation and self-awareness and mental clarity, and that's what I come in to offer through consultation or workshops or coaching, how to really hold the base up of that. Yeah, so I use those intuitive skills, which I'm really skilled at helping people to move information from subconscious to consciousness, to help them understand how their protectors have created their own self-limiting beliefs, and how to diminish those self-limiting beliefs and constantly step into their wise sage self in any given moment, and quicker. So helping them, that's not just reserved for individuals, right? I mean, companies are really made up of individuals. And then when you start playing with the dynamics between people, I think that's when it got really exciting for me. And I've always hosted workshops, for the last 35 years, and now doing them specifically for a team just really got me excited.
And you're talking about more than psychological safety in the work that you're doing. You're really focusing in on helping people understand their emotions and being able to, I love the term you use, regulate their emotions, because I think that's what attracts corporate clients to you, is that is something that is very much missing in the corporate world, is really how do we regulate our emotions?
But it's needed, right? And
Yes.
everybody has these emotions, and people recognize, my clients don't, they recognize they sabotage themselves, but they don't know the how and the why behind it, or how to get out of it, right? Everybody will admit that they sabotage themselves in various ways. They might not use that language, but they know they're their own worst enemy, they might say, right? Or what holds, they recognize they hold themselves back in various ways.
And that's one of the things I love about motivational maps as well. It can tell you where you are getting in your own way.
Right.
Especially when go ahead.
Especially when it comes to the unconscious biases. Like that is just beautiful light bulb moments for people, right? They might recognize their own strength, but they don't recognize their blind spots, and they don't recognize how their blind spots is now affecting how they're communicating with someone else on their team.
Yep.
That's
and
really
just
wonderful.
wait until you get to the next workshop I'm working on. It's about the motivational levers and trust.
Right. And trust is one. Trust is a really big thing that rises in my work. Like one in my client's ability to trust their relationship with me, and most importantly, to trust their relationship with themselves. And then that moves to how do they build trust within the workplace? Really,
very much so.
Yeah, essential.
That's really beautifully said. And I just have to note, I love the level of excitement you have, Joy, when you're talking about the work that you're doing. That is so wonderful. Like you're engaged in it in a real way, and it matters to you. I love that.
And there's something, I'm glad you said that, because Joy and I had known each other for a while. I tell her about motivational maps, and I think she thought it sounded interesting, but she didn't understand it until she saw it in action. And then she got super excited. And look at her now.
Right. Yeah. Well, I love just putting multiple tools in my toolbox and knowing which tool to pull out at which time and how to integrate tools together. So I love, integrating the motivational mapping with the PQ intelligence, with other aspects of learning how to shift your own energy. Like I love that saying Albert Einstein in terms of you can't solve problems from the level of thinking that created the problem. And so this helps people shift out of the
Well,
problem level. Yeah.
I think what you're saying there also relates to our motivational mappers group. We're all
Mhm.
lifelong learners.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're all excited about possibilities and potential and how we can contribute to them. And
Mhm.
that is something I cherish in our group
Mhm. Mhm.
because
Sure. If there's any mappers out there, this is an awesome group. That's how Marie Genevieve and I met, and we already started with a collaborative spirit of sharing some artwork together.
okay. So before we leave this topic about what you do and how you do it, what's your greatest passion? What is it you would like people to know that you do and you do extremely well?
Mhm. I see people at the core of their being, and people really enjoy being seen in a way that they hadn't been seen before. And it really brings out their brilliance, right? So I help people to really quiet the voices that tell them that they're less than or that sabotage them, and really foster their ability to access and bring out into the world their own brilliance.
And you like doing that in live workshops?
I prefer to do it live with people. Yes, that's my favorite way. Yeah, I think I think it's just seeing people at their core when they don't always feel seen there in a safe way. I mean, mostly my clients will continually tell me that they feel um, so safe with me, and they trust the movements that happen when they can see themselves. I guess what I'm passionate about is mirroring to people their truth. Maybe that's what I'm passionate about, mirroring to people their truth and their brilliance.
And again, that ties in so beautifully because when we're doing a debrief to people, we're not telling them anything they don't know
Right.
subconsciously. We're mirroring back to them what they've told us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Through their own assessment, right? Through their
Exactly.
assessment, right? And then helping them to gain the clarity of how does that relate to their decision making? How does it relate to just how they move within the office or to their. One of the things I've learned over the 30 years of working with people is how differently people meter their decision making. They meter their thoughts, right? There's a different pace and process. And we see that in the clusters, right? In the friendship cluster compared to the growth cluster, just completely different metering of pacing, right? And so that's important to be revealed in the office place of how, or even how I also like how the maps reveal inner conflict, right? If you have a very strong searcher and a very strong defender, some aspect of there, you can have internal conflict of wanting to move and wanting to push back or roll back and forth. And so helping people to understand where there might be outer conflict or inner conflicts that are just natural to those different levers.
Marie, do you have a question you want to ask?
I do. Joy and I have something in common. We both use game-based learning for our facilitation. And I'd love to hear a little bit more, Joy, about how you're using it, how it connects to motivational maps, a little bit more about your facilitation style.
Sure. My facilitation style is very playful, and so much can come out of it. The company that Akila and I first worked on, the drilling company, they're from California. They don't see snow very much, and we were doing a 3-day operations workshop facilitating for them. And in learning what was being needed, some ideas came to me of some questions that they could answer that would really support the growth of both learning the motivational mapping and how to work with each other. So I quickly had written 9 different questions on pieces of paper during this. This is a workshop with 40 people in it in a nice big circle. And if they answered the question, they could crumple up that piece of paper. And then that became their snowball. And so the more, if they answered all the questions, they had these snowballs. And then those gentlemen had the feistiest paper snowball fight. And then we unrolled every one of those snowballs. Remember that? And and we've got a host of information that was so useful to this team in terms of that self-awareness and self-regulation. Recently with the DSDS company and doing some of even the icebreakers, like taking some of the ideas from the motivational levers, and I had a ball of yarn, and I would have someone throw the yarn to someone. We were again all in a circle across from each other. And when they received the ball of yarn, they had to answer a question like, do you like to be recognized, and or in what way? Like, do you like to be publicly recognized? Like with, what type of fanfare would you prefer? So everybody had to answer. So we're learning, what some people were like, oh no, I definitely don't. Oh, like, oh, I want a cake, or I want this, or right. So there were answers, and everybody's listening. Anyway, and as we kept throwing that ball back and forth, you kept a piece of the string, right? And so it became this incredible web, right, between everybody, the string, and yet we got to hear what people's preferences were. Like, even like, how do you like to be best communicated with? Like, come to my office and knock on my door, or call me on the phone, or send me an email, right? So answers were coming out. And because it was so playful, people were remembering, right, what people were saying. It's kinesthetic. It's, anyway, just one of the many ways that we will play and continue to play. I'm really excited about the new app that's coming out, and I've already going to be working with it with this team. Yep. So in April, we're going to be doing a rollout of the app, and we'll make games out of using the app, right? So that they could get to use it and play with it. And again, do this speed dating of what's my motivator?
Anyway. Yeah, I love it. And like Marie said, I love your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Do you want to follow up on that, Marie? Is there anything else?
No, I mean, that's just a great example of the power of play and playing with purpose is what I like to call it.
Playing with purpose, exactly.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's really what I call it. It's that playing with purpose, because it's not, while it's fun and it's entertaining, the really important point is the richness, and you gave such beautiful examples of the richness of information, of retention that comes from that, because you're building on a memory and you're using all the different learning styles at once when you use the power of play. So I really wanted to, it's something that you and I have talked about offline. And I wanted the audience to know just, one, the amazing work that you do, and two, just your facilitation style that really brings out the self-awareness for people in a way that doesn't feel like it's a struggle.
Right. I'll give you one other suggestion of a play.
Yes, please.
So I have a bucket of probably 10 different types of balls. So maybe one's soft and fuzzy, one's prickly, one's a football. And then you have pair up where people are paired in two concentric circles, and people are throwing the balls and then they switch, right? So they're throwing with different people and different balls at different paces, and they all feel different in the hands, like as they're catching them or as they're throwing them, right? Some are easier to throw, some not. And yeah, you have them do that for a few minutes with different partners, and then we analyze what did it feel like doing this exercise. And then their motivators just naturally come out as they're talking about the game itself. Both their motivators and their saboteurs from that PQ intelligence. So yeah, it's so fun to play, reflect, learn, right? Play, reflect, learn, right?
Yep, that's exactly it. And there's so many layers to that activity too, because just how we are so different and the balls are so different.
Right? Exactly.
Like just a richness of debriefs that you can do with that activity. I love it.
Yeah. Like, how does it change the way you're listening or talking? Like, how does it distract you? Or how does it make you feel? Like, yeah, that was a fun one that we had done.
Yeah, and then this recently, like one realized, like, oh, I'm really competitive, right? Like I want, like my partner didn't catch the ball, and another one is, oh, I'm just exploring, just very different styles. Like, and a lot of times it's fun when you give them some instructions, but not all the instructions, right?
Yes.
To really watch how do they interpret and how do they handle when they don't know something, like what happens when they don't know, and just beautifully feeling.
Yeah. And the other quick thing about that is like you said, our natural tendencies come out.
Yes.
things that we're not aware of come out when we're in play,
Mhm, mhm.
because we can't control the situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beautiful
Yeah.
part of that. Akila looks like she has another question.
It's not a question. It was something about what you said in play. I realized the very first time I played golf, why it is so much business is done on the golf course. When you're playing golf with someone, you get to know their character, because somebody who is going to nudge the ball, well, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, because you're seeing their unconscious behaviors.
Mhm.
People who are absolutely honest, they will count every stroke, or people who will just take one off type of thing. And I can see, that was the first time I thought, yes, I can see where I would make decisions about who I'm going to work with by playing with them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Joy, as we're kind of wrapping up, tell us, if people are interested in working with you, where can they find you?
Right now, the best way would be joy@joyfulhealingcenter.com.
Okay.
Would be the best way. I'm in the middle of expanding my website. I have a website, and then the transformational leadership is will be joycaffrey.com is that website. You could access through that. Joyfulhealingcenter.com for now. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. And thank you for the time today. This was really wonderful.
One more thing.
Oh,
Sorry
yes,
to interrupt you, my dear.
that's okay.
It's the contest for the
I was
map.
about to get to that. It's okay.
It sounded like we were wrapping up.
No, we were wrapping up, but I was going to get to that piece of that's the final piece. What Akila is talking about is that we have a contest every week for someone to win a motivational map, a debrief, and a coaching session with Akila. And so in the link of this conversation, actually, you'll find it in the comments, a link to the Google form that you fill out in order to enter to win the motivational map, the debrief, and the coaching session with Akila. And so it's a wonderful prize, actually.
I have to tell you why I was so eager for it. I really enjoyed doing that with people, you know, and hopefully we'll hear from one of those winners one of these weeks.
Yes, we will announce this week's winner after this session. So you'll find out who's going to be your next person. But Joy, thank you so much for the time today. We've learned so much on how you're using motivational maps. And as always, Akila, you were wonderful with the questions, bringing those insights in. So thank you both for the time today. I enjoyed the listening.
I have to say thank you, Marie. Without you, none of this is possible. So
Thank you,
very
Marie.
much appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you,
My
Akila. Thank you,
pleasure.
Marie. Right.